All right, now we're recording. Okay, so as always, here are rules and expectations. And please do, reach out if you ever have any questions, either in the chat, on Discord, on email. I really want to make sure you all succeed. So I've put this link up here with the extra practice several times. I hope you can check that out. There are great sections on strings and lists. And also, I just wanted to show, okay, this tool, I don't know if maybe you have seen this. I thought this was neat. I discovered this, I found out about it a couple days ago. It is called goblin.tools, and there are some really neat things on here. This is a magic to-do list. It breaks like things down, like if you say like clean your house or something, and then you can click on this magic button and it will break this task down into smaller tasks that you can do. That's pretty cool. I like this one that tells you the tone of something. So if you're about to send a text message or an email, and you're like, I want to make sure I'm not coming across as rude, or you received a text and you don't know the context of it, or you don't know like if it's sarcastic or not, you can put that in here. It detects sarcasm. It's really good at it. It knows like memes and stuff. So if you're not up to date on that, like I sometimes am not, it will explain it for you. There's also estimator for telling you how long like a task is going to take. Compiler to create like a list of tasks, formalizer to make emails more formal or more professional, or the other way around. They have a bunch of different options here. And then I like this chef one where you can type in the ingredients that you have in your house and it tells you what you can cook. I love this tool. This is really great. So if you don't know, a lot of my work at Vanderbilt is actually developing tools like this. So this whole summer, I've been working with students developing assistive technology tools for neurodivergent people. And one of the things that we wanted to do was create basically what this is, where you can, and it even has text to speech, where you can put in like a text that you received or you're about to send and then check the tone of it. And then we found this and we're like, oh, it already exists. So anyway, I thought that was super neat. I put the link in there. It's goblin.tools. Check it out. Let me know what you think. Okie doke. So that's a pretty cool tool.
Hi.
Okay.
Can I write this down, please?
Yes. Goblin.tools. Yeah, it's really neat. Okay, and just to put this here, you can always find links to the Google Drive and class resources and everything on the class syllabus. So that's linked here. If someone can grab that link and put it in the chat for me to the class syllabus, and then thank you. And then that's our Google Drive where you have all the slides as well. So great resources there, links and stuff. So if you need to go back and review slides, or if you want to have them on a different screen or something, follow along on your phone, I don't know, whatever you want to do. Also, as a reminder, we had these extra practice assignments that I put in that Google Drive as well, and I've linked it here. Feel free to work on those, and then we're going to go over those in class on July 18th. Please do stay muted, and if you need to ask a question, use the raise hand button, because otherwise there's random sounds coming, attacking me. All right, so before we get started, are there questions about that? And we're going to jump into a little knowledge check. And I need a pause to drink water. Okie doke, knowledge check. Okay, so we're just going to do some quick ones. It's fill in the blank style. So we're going to start with number 1. Fill in the following code to create a list of your 3 favorite foods. So go ahead and put in the chat, how would you fill in this code? What would you put in this blank spot here where the underscores are? What would you put here to create a list of your 3 favorite foods? Quick fire, put it in as fast as you can. No takers yet. There we go. There's one. Thank you. Okay. Keep going. What would you put here if you wanted to create a list of your 3 favorite foods? Go ahead and put it in the chat. I know you guys can do it. All right, we've got 3 responses. We've got, yep, with quotes, don't forget the quotes. And if you're struggling to come up with your 3 favorite foods, that's just put random foods in. Mostly I want to see that you can, yeah, mostly the point is not the foods that you put in there. The point is that you know how to make a list is what I'm checking for here. All right, all right. So great job, everyone. So don't look at that. Okay. So if I were to fill this in, so first of all, to create a list, I'm not going to sell your data. Nope. There we go. So first of all, to create a list, remember we use these square brackets, not parentheses, square brackets. And if we're going to put in 3 things in there, so I like pasta. Remember, you need quotes around each of these. So don't forget your quotes, but don't put quotes around all of them. Put quotes around each item. A comma. I'm going to say chocolate, comma. And I'm going to say, let's see, what other food do I like? Curry. All right. So this is how I construct my list for my 3 favorite foods. I've got pasta in quotes, then a comma, chocolate in quotes and a comma, and curry in quotes and a comma. So obviously the food part here doesn't matter. I just want to make sure you know how to construct a list. Okay, number 2, fill in the following code to access the first element in my_pets and assign this value to first pet. So fill in this blank right here. What would you put there to answer the question number 2? Assign the first value of my pets to this variable here. Awesome, awesome. Thank you for your responses. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Amazing. Thank you, everyone. Yes, so you're going to say my pets and then square brackets 0 to get that first element. Awesome. Great job, everyone. Okay, next task. So fill in the following code to print each item in my_pets. So if we wanted to print each item in my pets, fill in these blanks here. What would you put inside of these blanks? And so you can either just put what would you put in the blanks, or you could type out this whole thing for blank and blank. What goes in these blanks for you to be able to print each item in my pets? Go ahead and put your answer in the chat. Got some answers here. Thank you so much. All right, I'm going to wait a couple more seconds. If you are struggling to type this whole thing out, you can just put what you would put in the blanks, or you can type out this whole thing. I know it is a little weird with like the Zoom and chat and pressing enter. Awesome, awesome. All right, and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Amazing. Thank you all so much for your answers. Yes, so I saw a lot of great answers. So it seemed like a lot of people wanted to call it pet in my pets. That's totally fine. So I'll keep that. So for pet in my pets, print pet. Great job. Awesome. So one thing to remember, I do see a couple people switching this up. So whatever this is named, this needs to have the same name. So if you're going to say for I in my pets, print I. So you need to keep these if we're wanting to do this task, which is to print each item in the list. Make sure that the for I in my pets, you're printing I or printing pet if you named that pet. So you're taking this and that's what you're printing. So you're not printing the whole list, you're printing I. Amazing. Okay, and then we have 2 more after this. So fill in this code to find the length of the string state. So what goes here? Go ahead and put in the chat what goes right here. Good answers, good answers. Makes me feel like I'm on Family Feud. All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you so much for all of these answers. Amazing. I love your participation. It validates me. Okay, so if we want to find the length, we're going to use the len function, which stands for length. And we're just going to say len state. This len function works for strings as well as lists. Amazing, y'all. Okay, last one. This is a 3-parter. Okay, so we're going to take this one part at a time. So 2A, fill in the following code to get the first letter of the name variable and assign it to first initial. We're going to be creating some initials here. So name equals Alexander Hamilton. First initial equals, what do I put here to get the first letter of the name variable? Go ahead and put in the chat. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Amazing. Yes, thank you so much. So we're going to say first initial equals name, bracket, 0, close bracket. There's no spaces, so there's no space here. That would give us an error. So first initial equals name, square bracket, 0, in square bracket. Amazing. Okay, the next part of this. Assign the first letter of Hamilton to last initial. So you can kind of see what we're doing. We're trying to create someone's initials. So like my initials would be MS. So if we want to assign the first letter of Hamilton to last initial, what goes in this blank? This trips up some people. So maybe you guys will also be tricked, or maybe you will get it. Go ahead and put your answers in the chat. So if we want to get the first letter of Hamilton, we already did this, we did first initial, now we want the first letter of Hamilton, which is his last name, and we're assigning that to last initial. So what do we want there? Wait a couple seconds for people to put their answers in the chat.
Hi.
Got some guesses. Hey there, remember to stay muted. It just gets chaotic if I hear too many voices. Awesome. Okay. We've got some guesses here. So I want the first letter of Hamilton to be, so I want the first letter of Hamilton, which is this capital H here. So maybe if I put it a different way, if I want to just get this capital H, how do I get it? Well, it's indexed just like a list is, so we can actually count the characters. So I'm going to start. So this is 0. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. H is in the 10th index here. So if we want to get that H, we're going to say name, square bracket, 10. All right. Sometimes this one trips people up because they see the name last initial and then they try to get the last letter of the word. So last year I had a lot of people saying name -1 or like name and then whatever the index of the last one is. But we want this H here. So we want to make sure we count the characters and then we say we want the 10th index. Okay, last of these little rapid fire knowledge checks. Combine the initials into full initials. So we have our name variable, we have the first initial, we have the last initial. Now, if we want to create a string that is the full initials, so like I said, my full initials would be MS. What goes here? We want to concatenate the first initial and the last initial. Go ahead and put that into chat. Try not to look at other people's answers until you put yours in the chat. I know it's tempting. All right, we've got a couple ones. Give a couple more seconds for y'all to put your answers in there. Thank you so much. All right, and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Amazing. Okay, so if we want to concatenate these, remember these are strings. So first initial is the string A, last initial is the string H. So if we want to concatenate those, we can just say, oops, not first initial plus last initial. And then now we have full initials, which is equal to AH. Alexander Hamilton. All right. How did that go? It seemed like you guys got it. Had a lot of interaction, which I appreciate. If any of those didn't make sense to you, please do let me know. But for now, we're going to move on to these in-class practice problems. So we will work on some practice problems combining strings and lists, and you can either work individually or as a group. In a moment, I'm going to launch a poll that will say, do you want to work on your own or in a breakout room? And if you say you want to work in a breakout room, then I'll create a breakout room for you and a couple other students. If we don't have enough people that want to go into a breakout room, we may all just stay here. But I want your workflow to be, if you're in a group, someone share their screen. If you're working by yourself, totally fine. I'm going to send out a poll, don't worry. But write the code to solve this task. Think about it, write up your code. And then I want you to check if your code does what it should in Replit. I've noticed a couple people are writing out their code, maybe in the Zoom chat or somewhere else. Write it in Replit, see if it actually runs. And then that's how you know if you did it right? If it's doing the task that we want. So run it in Replit. And then if your code does not work, read through your code, try to spot an error. Maybe you forgot to indent, read the error code. Maybe the error code gives you a hint as to what went wrong. And if all else fails, if you can't figure it out, paste that code into ChatGPT. I've linked it here. We should all have accounts or whatever AI you want to use. Some people like to use the Bing one, and ask that, what is wrong with the code? This is, I fully believe this is going to be the workflow for programmers in the future and now, is putting errors and code into ChatGPT and then saying, what's wrong? I can't see the error, what's wrong? It's really, really helpful. So that's our workflow for now. Remember, you can access these slides on your own. We're just going to start with task 1. I'm going to give you 10 minutes to work on it. Yeah, so I haven't given you what the code is yet. So here's our first task. We're going to spend 10 minutes on this. It's about 10 minutes for each. When the 10 minutes are up, we're going to we're going to all come back into the main room, or if you are already here working on individually, we're just going to come back and I'll work on it all together and show you how I would do it. I have 4 here, but we probably won't get through all 4. Well, we won't get through all 4 given math of 10 minutes for 4 problems, and we have 30 minutes left. That's totally fine. For the rest of them, I'll let you work on those on your own after class, and then we'll go over them as well as the other practice problems that we're not doing in class. We'll go over the answers to those. So we'll do what we can today. Whatever's left, work on at home. We'll go over the answers next class. All right, I'm going to launch this poll. If you want to work in a breakout room, indicate that, and I will create a breakout room for you to work together. Do remember that if you're in a breakout room, please be respectful. Please be kind to everyone. And make sure you are all working together. So maybe someone shares their screen and types some code and people can suggest what to type. So do try to work together on that. All right, I'm just going to keep this open for looks like 30 seconds. So if you don't indicate anything, I'll just keep you in this main room. Otherwise, I'll put you in a breakout room. All right, just waiting for that. If you want to work individually, you can go ahead and start on that. If you want to do a breakout room, I'll be creating those. So just wait a couple seconds while I wait for everyone to fill out this. Okay. And 5 more seconds to fill out this poll. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, I'm going to end the poll. And let's see if this works. If you get invited to a breakout room and you said individually, just ignore it. Let's see. 3 breakout rooms. No. Let's let me try out a feature in Zoom live. Okay, you know what? I'm going to open a breakout room. And you should be able to self-assign yourself. Self-assign yourself. All right. Okay, I tried to add the people that indicated breakout room to this breakout room, and it would not let me. So while I figured this out, if you want to work in a breakout room, you should be able to click on breakout rooms and then add yourself to that room. If you are not able to do that, someone please let me know. Okay. Sorry, this is awkward. I thought this would work. Okay, so if you want to join a breakout room, click on breakout rooms and join that. If you have trouble, just message me and I'll add you to it manually. Breakout rooms are going to go for 10 minutes. Individual work, just work on this for 10 minutes. I'm going to keep this on the screen here. If you have questions, you're free to ask me. And I also encourage you to try to solve these problems on your own as well by, Googling or using ChatGPT, all of the tools that we have available to us. Okay, so go. And at 41, so for me, that is 5:41, I will close the breakout rooms and we're going to work on this problem together.
Hi. What is your favorite color?
We'll discuss favorites after class. How about that?
Hi.
Hey, Tanya, do you have a question?
What is your favorite class?
My favorite class, probably one of my coding classes. Okay, just checking in. We've got about 5 minutes left. 10 minutes of silence is awkward for me. So if you're done, you could let me know. If you need more time, you could let me know that too. I just want to check in. So if you could check in with me, you could just. Okay, yeah.
I could use another little bit for the last one, just because I don't know all the right functions, methods,
Okay.
whatever.
Awesome. Thank you for letting me know. Okay, I'll keep the timer on.
Okay, so I have finished every single every single task on task 1, and all of them worked.
Amazing. Great job. I'm super happy to hear that. We
Yeah.
have 1 minute and 20 seconds left on our timer. So when that is up, I will go through my solution. Thank you for letting me know. All right, our time is up. Hopefully that was a good little challenge for you. I'm gonna open Replit because I have many tabs open. Okay, let's start Python. And I'm just gonna call this one task one. Lists and strings. You can name it whatever you want. Okie doke. Okay, so I'm here on Replit, and what did we want? We have write a program that takes a sentence as input from the user and performs the following tasks. So right off of that, I see input. We want input from the user. So I'm going to call my variable sentence. You can call it whatever you want. I'm going to say sentence equals input. Remember, we need that input function. I'm just going to say enter a sentence. And then I'm going to be fancy and add \n to put a new line so that we can enter the user can enter their answers on a new line. That is totally fine if you did not do that. Okay, so first, print the length of the sentence. So I'm going to print, we worked on this today, print len, length, sentence. So, all right, we did first task. That's just a comment that I put there so that I know what number I'm working on. Comments are, if we haven't, we've talked about them a little bit. Comments, they start with this little hashtag, #, sharp sign, whatever you call them. And it's just a way for you to put notes to yourself on your code or to other coders. All right, print the sentence in uppercase. This is, we learned about this one. It's one of our string methods that we learned on Tuesday. We're going to say sentence dot upper. All right. And notice, so this input will come in as a string. So we don't need to change it in any way. We can just do length. We can do sentence dot upper, print it in uppercase. Okay, now I think it's print it in all lowercase is next. So I'm going to do, it's the same thing, but it's dot lower, sentence dot lower. And then number of words in the sentence. Okay, so this one, a bit trickier. So we want to get the number of words. So I'm going to create another variable. I'm going to say num words. And if we want to get the number of words with strings, just by themselves, it's a little hard. We could get the number of characters, but we need a way to separate everything by word. Well, most sentences, the words are separated by spaces. So we can use our little string.split method. So we can say sentence dot split. Remember, this splits up your string depending on what is this called, delineator is here. And so I'm going to say sentence dot split, and what I want it to split by is a space. So I'm just going to do quotes and just a single space inside here. And that will give us a list of all of the words. So that's a list of our words. Oops. I'm going to call this list words then. So list words is this. So now if I want to get the number of words in the sentence, I want to get the length of that list. Now it is a bit different because, you know, people could mess this up, like your user could mess it up a little bit, but we won't worry about that. So in this case, we just want to take our sentence that we got, split it into a list by space. And now we're going to print the length of that list, and that will be our number of words. So if you want, you can assign this to a variable and then print that variable, but I just printed the whole thing here. All right. And number 5, print the sentence with all of the vowels replaced by asterisks. This one is a little trickier. Let's see if our first 4 worked, and then we'll look at the next one. Okay, so enter a sentence. I'm gonna say, hello, my name is Miranda, and I love to program. Enter. All right, there we go. So it gives us the length of that sentence, 47, that's how many characters are in it, is all in uppercase, all in lowercase. Now it counts the words for us. So it split it up into a list and then counted the length of that. So let's check that. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There are 10 words in my sentence. Amazing. So that worked. So what we have so far works. Okay, now let's work on this one. Print the sentence with all of the vowels replaced by asterisks. So first to do this, we need to know what vowels are. Maybe we intuitively know what vowels are, but we need to tell Python what vowels are. So we can't replace these vowels until we tell it what those vowels are. So I'm going to make a list called vowels equals, and then I'm just going to put all the vowels in there. I'm going to have A. And remember, these each need to go in their own set of quotes. And U. So A, E, I, O, U are our vowels. And what we're going to do, if you remember, we can check if a string is in something. We can say if this string is in this other string. And that helps us check if it's in there. So first we want to check if a letter is a vowel. And then if the letter is a vowel, we're going to replace it with an asterisk and then move on to the next letter. So you can kind of see, looks like we may need a loop here. So I'm going to say I'm going to say I in sentence. Oh yes, someone said, wouldn't we need to include upper and lowercase? Thank you for catching that. So let's say we're going to have our lowercase sentence. So I'm going to say sentence equals sentence dot lower. Thank you for catching that. So I'm just reassigning sentence to be the lowercase version. Amazing catch. So now we're going to say for I in sentence. Let's say if I, so that's our letter, is in vowels. Sorry, I just blanked. Okay, there's a couple different ways to do this, and I'm doing it live to show you that I can. There's a couple different ways, and I'm trying to think of what would be the most sense-making to all of you. Okay, we're not going to do that. We're going to say for I in vowels, because we can do string dot replace a portion of a string. So what we had old and then what we had new. So my apologies if that was confusing. Oh, I lost my replet. Okay, here we go. Okay, so wrong replet. I have too many tabs. Okay, so now we're going to say for I in vowels if, no. We could just say sentence dot replace. I'm going to say new sentence equals sentence dot replace and have I, comma, and we want to replace it with this asterisk. Now, one problem with this is that we're doing sentence, we're calling sentence dot replace. This is not changing our original sentence. It's creating a new one. So we need to set sentence equals new sentence. So just to explain that again, so we're going for I in vowels. So for every letter in this vowel list, we're going to call sentence dot replace I, replace I with this asterisk here. But this is equal to new sentence. This is a new variable, but we want to keep updating the sentence variable. So we're going to reassign sentence to be equal to what we did with new sentence. If you want to shorten this, you could just make this, sentence equals sentence dot replace. That's totally fine. I like to spread it out on 2 lines because it's a little bit easier to read, and I can access this other variable here intermittently in between. I don't know the word I'm trying to say. Okay, so now let's print it. So let's print sentence at the very end of this. All right. So I'm going to try again. Hello. My name is Miranda. Oops, spelled my own name wrong. Okay, and there it goes. Replaces all of the asterisks with, all the vowels with asterisks. And now that I look at this, it kind of looks like when you are bleeping out cuss words. Apologies if that offends you. Sorry about that. It's kind of funny though. Okay, so here we go. So do we have questions on this? I know that this last one especially was a bit trickier than we normally do. Do we have questions on it? And I hope you gained something by watching me code live. I always found that I was more engaged in that as a student than my professor putting up the answer and then reading over the answer. It was way more engaging for me to see them work through the problem live so I could see their thought process. So I hope that is helpful. And I hope you don't mind when I rethink something that I'm doing and kind of change it a bit. All right, yes, David. David, did you have a question?
I forgot to unmute.
Oh, okay.
When, sorry about that.
That's okay.
The way that you've written that there changes the original sentence, which means that that if you then want to ask any other questions about the original sentence, you'll be pretty much stuck. So that seems awkward.
Yes.
And I am wondering if there's some nice way to do this without having to fuss around with mutable variables all over the place. Is there something a little bit higher level to map over the thing and something like that?
Yeah, that's a really great question. So so the reason that I did this was because when I say new sentence equals sentence dot replace, it is going to go through each of the vowels, but then new sentence is going to be recreated each time. So it erases what we do, right? Because we recreate it. So if you didn't want to do that.
What if you just start with right above the loop, put in new sentence equals sentence.
Yeah.
And then inside use new sentence in the first line and remove the second line.
Yeah, so I'm going to say replace sentence equals.
Well, no, just do new sentence.
Okay.
And then delete the second line of the loop.
Okay.
And then print new sentence down there.
Oh, yes. Okay, yes. I see what you're saying. Yeah, so you just create this extra variable up here, and then you're not changing the original sentence.
Yes.
Sounds good. And so we could even get rid of this here and just say new sentence equals sentence dot lower if we wanted. Yes, you also don't have to do this dot lower. Oh, that's okay. Oh, yes. Thank you, Brendan. It says remember.
Well, and you might consider doing for I in vowels plus vowels dot lower.
I don't think you can do. Can you do dot lower on a list?
Sorry.
So you could either, yeah.
I'm sorry.
You could either include.
No, you're right. You're right. That doesn't work because I was thinking wrong.
Yeah,
types.
I see what you mean though. No, it's okay. These are great questions. But yeah, so you could either include if you wanted and you didn't want to change it, because notice this does change, my capitalization here. So this H is lowercase and this M is lowercase, which maybe you don't want to change that. You could include the uppercase vowels and then get rid of the sentence dot lower. For my purposes in this assignment, I didn't really care. But that is an option. You could just add the uppercase ones. And there's so many ways to do this. There's a lot of different ways to accomplish this problem. But yeah, thank you. Did you have other suggestions?
Well, I was still wondering if there's some sort of a higher level way to talk about this rather than like pushing together, like pushing letters on to the end in a mutating fashion. I imagine there probably is, but I don't know Python.
Yeah, I mean, there are, like I said, there's always many different ways to do it. The choice is usually just in if you're limited by like how fast you want your code to run. For us, it doesn't really matter. So these simple solutions are a lot of times preferred because they're easier to read, right? So I could come up with like a really clever solution that doesn't use as much memory, or it's faster, or it's only one line. But in real world applications, like writing code that other people will read or use, sometimes you do just want to do like something that just makes sense instead of like something that is a higher level that technically accomplishes it faster, but is less approachable for people to read. So I don't know, it's a trade-off.
I was maybe using a different sense of higher level.
Oh, okay.
I meant to encapsulate this kind of pattern so that instead of trying to look at what like individual little steps, it would say, okay, I want to replace all of the things in this string by applying a certain function to each of them. Would be an example if there's a way to do that.
Like writing a function.
No,
So
I mean like
it. Sorry.
I mean, I other languages that I know, you could say something like map of take a letter and produce if the letter is in this particular set, then star otherwise the letter. And
okay, yes.
then apply that to the string. But I don't know how it works in Python.
Yes, you definitely can do that. I probably won't, because we just have a couple minutes left. I probably won't like demo that, but yeah, there's a lot of, I don't know if one is particularly better than the other, but I get what you're saying about being more high level. And something else we could do. Oops, no, I don't want to do that. All right, so just for the last 2 minutes, I'm going to demonstrate what will ChatGPT do with this. Because that's a great question that you can ask ChatGPT, is say like, what would be a more higher level way of doing this? So here's my ChatGPT. If you want, you can do GPT-4, that is better. It's a better model. You do have to pay for it though. So I'll show you two ones. I'll show you GPT 3.5, and then I'll show you GPT-4 with this fancy code interpreter, which actually allows it to run code. So we're gonna have a little show and tell here. All right, so here's GPT 3.5. I'm going to say, I'm just going to paste in all of this here. I'm going to get rid of this top part just because I just want to see what it does with print a sentence with all the vowels replaced by asterisks. Okay, send that message. And there it goes. So yeah, so it does, it makes a function here. It says replace vowels, for vowel in vowels, sentence equals sentence dot replace vowel with this star. And then it asks for user input, calls this replace vowels function on user input, and then prints the result. It even puts out a little example of what this will do if you run it. So that was pretty good. It was a pretty simple task, simple in terms of for ChatGPT, it can do really cool stuff. So there's one thing, David, that's a little different way to do it. And then let's do a new chat. I'm gonna select ChatGPT 4, and then I'm gonna select code interpreter. This actually will let it run the code. And let me get rid of this part because I just want to see this one. Okay, so this one did it a little bit differently. It actually just saved all the vowels to a string and then went through each of the vowels in that string and replaced it. Notice it's creating functions, which we haven't talked about yet. So if you see that and you're confused about, oh, you can't really see that too well, can you? There we go. So I'm sorry if you couldn't see that before I zoomed in, but you can see it. It does really well. It's really cool. Code interpreter, especially if you do have paid ChatGPT, not required for this class. I get it through my job. It's a really neat tool. Any of these AIs, I highly encourage you to try incorporating them into your coding workflow. And I see we are right at the top of the hour, so thank you so much. We just did one of the tasks, which is fine. So I won't say you don't need to do all of these tasks. Let's just say do task number. I mean, if you want to do all of them, go for it. If you want the extra practice, let's just do task number 2, and then we'll go over that next class. We will also be going over the review problem slide, which I have linked here. So we'll be going over these problems, which there's 2 problems on these slides, and then 1 problem here. So thank you so much, everyone. And I hope you have a great weekend. I'll see you on Tuesday.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Yeah, Brendan, I thought about it. Like when I was typing out the vowels, I was like, I wonder if someone's gonna ask if Y is a vowel.
Very important question. Is Y
Yeah.
a vowel? Should we be checking
Sometimes.
that?
Sometimes.
Because as I mentioned, if my name was Lynn, I would
Yeah.
have my full name come right
Yeah.
out, even with the censor. And Brandon asks replies, if random.random is less than 0.5 vowels, would include Y.
That's funny. I like that.
He'll leave it up to chance to solve things.
Yeah.
The simplest solution.
Oh, I'm gonna stop this recording here.
We ought to discuss this in
Alright.
the Discord server